All right, we're going to look at some practical applications of multiplication and division. So there are, for multiplication, really, it's really good for repeated addition. So if you see things that say per, that's kind of repeated addition because it's the same amount added on for each of whatever other quantity you've got going on. So if you have repeated addition where you're just adding the same quantity over and over and over and over again, then you can use multiplication. Division problems are a little bit more difficult at times because that's a situation where if you need to split a total into a certain number of groups, so you got a total amount and you got to split it into a certain number of groups, division will find the size of each group for you. So if you need to find the size of each group, that's what division does. It also works if you have a total and you need to split the groups and you already know the size of the group. It's going to find how many groups you can make. So for instance, if you had 100 chickens and you wanted to split them into groups of 25, if you take 10 divided by 100 divided by 25, you would end up with 4 groups. The last one is kind of repeated subtraction questions. So if you needed to repeatedly subtract a certain quantity from a total until you get to 0, it finds the number of subtractions that it would take. So we're going to look at an example where we're looking at the largest soybean farm in the world. This was in 2013. So these are 2013 numbers. And it's in Brazil, and it's got 555,000 acres of just soybeans. Just soybeans. So they have to apply lime to their fields, and if they till it in, it tells you that surface line or that tilled in line, you can put in 4 tons per acre if you're going to work it into the soil. So here's the question. So using these two facts, how many tons of worked in lime does the farm need for its soybean fields? So in this situation, I'm going to try to bring the calculator over. Essentially, we have that per acre, tons per acre. And can I drag this over here? Yes, I can. Okay. So I'm repeatedly adding lime. I'm adding 4 tons of lime every time I move to the next acre. Next acre, add another 4 tons of lime. Add another 4 tons of lime. It's repeated addition. I'm taking 4 tons of lime and I'm repeatedly adding it 155,000 times. Just like that. So that's 620,000 tons of lime. Did I do that right? That's not the number we got before. I might have to redo this video quick. Well, it's 555,000 acres. All right, so it's 555,000 acres, so not 155,000. So let's delete that and let's clear all of this. So it's 555,000 acres times 4. There we go. There's that 2.20, or it's 2,220,000 tons of lime that we need for these fields, total. All right, let me put this calculator away for a minute, and we'll look at the next application. Example 2, here's a side dumper truck. They got to get the lime to the field. Side dumper transfer trailer can carry 26 tons per load. How many loads will it take to deliver 2,220,000 tons of lime? The answer is, let's see, what can help us out? We have a total, and each load subtracts 26 tons. So we have a total that we have to finish. Each load subtracts 26 tons. So we're doing repeated subtraction. This is a job for division. So we're going to take the total, grab this here again. We're going to take the total, 2,220,000, and we're going to divide it by 26. We're going to divide it by how much we're subtracting off each time, and we get 85,384.61. Now I'm going to round this up to 385 because I want to make sure I get enough for the whole field. If I'd round down to 4, then I wouldn't have enough for that last few acres. Sample 3. So we got that same soybean, same farm, but the size of the soybeans was hard for me to understand. I think I hadn't said in this lecture before, but Polk County, Wisconsin is 611,000 acres. So this thing is almost as big as Polk County, just in soybeans. It's like planting soybeans over almost everything in Polk County. So the town of Osceola is just 2,678 acres. So at least, I mean, Osceola would just be all soybeans. I want to find out how many Osceolas will fit on the soybean fields. So I have a total number of acres, and I have the size of the group that I want to know fits here. I want to know how many groups of size 2,678 will fit into that total. So when I know the size of the group and I know the total and I want to find out the number of groups, that's the time that we're going to use division. So we're going to take the total acreage. Let me clear all my stuff out of here. 550,000 acres, and we're going to divide that by the size of the group. 26 of the size that we're trying to put into it. 26, 7. There we go. That many acres. Enter. 207.24 Osceolas would fit on those soybean fields. Okay, let's take a look at example 4. Okay, the farm has 15, it says this is 15 combines for harvest. So they work together to harvest the 155,000 acres of soybeans. And I want to find out how many acres each combine is responsible for. Well, I spelled combine wrong, combine. Okay, we are dividing the total into a certain number of equal parts. So we know the number of parts, and I want to find out how big each part is. That's a job for division again. So if I come over and I try to get that going on division, like so, I'm going to clear this out. So I have 155,000, and I know I'm going to divide it into 15 equal parts. So divided by 15, and we get 10,333.333. That's the number of acres each combine has to harvest to do its equal share of the job. So those are the applications. We did one where we had repeated addition, where we had to keep adding lime in. We did one where we split a total into a certain number of groups. That was where we had the 15 combines that each had to do an equal size of equal share. We did it when we split a total into groups of a certain size. That's where we took the Osceolas. We knew the size of the acres for Osceola, and we figured out how many of those would fit into the total. And then the last one was where we repeatedly subtracted. That's when we grabbed the side dumpers and we kept subtracting 26 from the total amount of lime that we needed to use. So your practice in this is in this in this Google Slides. You can take a screenshot of this, or you can get into the slides or the notes. It's got 3 slides to it. So here's the first 5. Here's the next 2. This table, this is where it's kind of a longer problem here, because you got to actually figure out the total weight of this whole order of beams. And then here, again, a table, we have to figure out the total capacity there for air conditioning. So each one of these, try to fit each one of these problems into one of the 4 uses of multiplication and division. All right, that's it for me, and good luck on the homework.